Yeah, this is one of those things that you can just kind of put on and hit the mute button if you're not interested. It is talk radio, essentially, right? Who cares now? We are the comment on random shit guys. We just have an algorithm that we use and talk about whatever the story is that comes up. We don't know. We don't know what the story is. This is why it's so great. Um, because our educational backgrounds. I have a degree in political science and philosophy, and he's got a degree in physics. Right, so we're very logic oriented. Although his is a hard science and mine's a soft science, but logic is still logic, right? So we can talk about a wide variety of topics, and we're just not sure about it. This one, dramatic video said to show Russian jet hitting U.S. drone near Ukraine. And this is by the CBS News again. So they're a news station out of the U.S. Um, Now I'm actually familiar with this story. Apparently, the U.S. is flying a drone over where over the Black Sea. Is that what it is? And Russia um, sees that's a drone. Russia's the fighter pilots are dumping fuel on it to try to mess up the drone. As it turns out, one of the jets collides with it, right, and downs this drone. Um, Now the push becomes to get the drone and its technology and information back yet, right? There are no U.S. Ships in the area, right? So it's causing a little bit of issues, but this could escalate some of the tensions between U.S. and Russia, right? Ukraine kind of like uh, equating it to Afghanistan, right? Russia invaded Afghanistan, and the U.S. kind of gave a bunch of stuff to everything else to go in, but the U.S. and Russia never actually had the conflict. This is not boding well here. Let's see what this article says. The U.S. military on Tuesday morning released a video showed Russian fighter jet intercepting, then colliding with the drone. It crashed into the Black Sea. There it is. Yeah, see, and I'm looking at the video where you can see that it's dumping fuel and clips it. The U.S. has accused Russia of operating its warplane in an unsafe and unprofessional manner during the encounter near the Ukraine's Russian-occupied Crimean Peninsula. On Wednesday, a senior official of Moscow said Moscow would try to recover the wreckage of the drone. Of course, they would. Right? They benefit from doing that, and because the U.S. doesn't have any troops, not troops, any ships in the area, it can't do a salvage operation either. Right? Certainly not before Russia gets it. And there's all sorts of other stuff occurring there. Unmanned vehicle was likely broken during the crash, and whatever debris was left will likely sink to the depth of thousands of feet in the Black Sea. That's U.S. property. That's crew. Correct. There's probably not to recover, frankly. There is. There's probably not a lot left to recover, but people do it all the time, right? About a bunch of other things because you want to see how and what and break it down and reverse engineer it and all those other things. An official said Russians had reached the site of the crash and will probably manage to collect some of the pieces of debris, like metal chunks. But the U.S. has taken mitigating measures to prevent the loss of any sensitive intelligence. We're quite confident that whatever was of value is no longer of value. Okay. The video shows the jet passing by before making another pass, which it allegedly hit the drone's propeller. Camera lost briefly after the apparent collision, but comes back to show what the Air Force said was damage to the propeller from the strike. The Russian jet dumping fuel and struck the propeller on, right? Speaking reporters, wasn't armed. Yeah, that would have been worse if it was armed. I'm glad they didn't. The drone was not armed. Referred to it as a MQ-9, but not by its other name, the Reaper. The U.S. uses Reapers for surveillance and strikes and has operated the aircraft in Europe and Middle East and Africa. Right? So you're the language you use, you're trying to downplay, but that's the same craft, right? Yeah, that's that's a PR move. Conversations between Russia and the U.S. Continue to fly and operate over wherever international law allows. It is incumbent upon Russia to operate its military vehicle or aircraft in a safe and professional manner. Yeah. I don't know. Non-compliance, Russia disproportionately. Yeah. Anyway, that's it's interesting for sure. This is the latest thing going on in Ukraine. U.S. will probably start sending something there, and it's just a matter of time. Even accidental things happen, but it draws it in. It's going to be worse. I don't know. Coyotes ad. Okay, what's this one? We're gonna hit the start button here. Dollar celebrates late father with hilariously sarcastic obituary. Redneck SOB. So this is today. I don't know. I've heard of this before. This paper. I don't know how reputable this is, but this seems like a hard-hitting news journalistic story. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, dad has passed, hence the obituary, and daughter is writing the story. Right. So, Georgia woman eulogized her late father, a camo coverall loving redneck. That's pretty funny, with a clever and sarcastic obituary. Well, now we have to read it, right? We have to read the obituary. Died on battling sepsis at age 62. That's not good. Sepsis is poisoning, right? Your blood is being poisoned. So he had like maybe liver failure or something to that effect. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but great friends. Remember him with this. I remember him being upset with me only 2 times in my life. Once when I was 7, and I accidentally punched him in the nose, and again when I said I couldn't, when I said he couldn't leave the nursing home until he got oxygen in his house. He was very stern. He was more stern with other people, caring, loving. And here's the obituary. In his obituary, Milner recalled her dad's endearing personality. Dad, the father, died at ICU at this place after losing a battle with sepsis at the age of 62. After 50 years of crap starting with everyone and everything he could and everything he could find to fight, this hard as nails redneck SOB finally found something meaner and more stubborn than himself. That's kind of funny. Like any good card carrying, Ray-Ban wearing, camo coverall loving redneck, Dad had 3 true loves: hunting, fishing, and drinking. Well, that's actually not how the statement goes, but you probably can't say what the third one is. Uh, Fighting, fishing, and love making, as it were. Darth Frabaka, hello, young sir. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're doing a new thing right now. This is now our 5th episode, but we are the comment on random shit guys. My co-host, who cares, was unable to. He had a personal thing today. He was unable to attend, so a decision was made to either go with it today. PBRs. I don't have a P. Oh, what the hell is this? I've got a bottle of water because I'll be right back. Hold on. Far be it from me not to be prepared for guys like who cares when it comes in and use my own emoji against me. There you go, buddy. That one's for you. Still work would definitely use a PBR. Well, I got one for you right there. Trying to have my coffee. I got a beer. I got a bottle of water. That's what happens here. Oops. I'm going to pull the headphone out. Wire out of the headphones. Okay, so the format is we talk about random stories. We got an algorithm up here. You can see daughter celebrates late father. That story. I click on the thing up here 3 times, and whatever story comes up, we talk about this. And my Who Cares Night, we talk about this for about an hour. So just starting. So thanks for sticking around. Feel free to comment on and about whatever the topic is. Weigh in on what you think about anything on the stuff that we're talking about. Right. Thank you for the beer, by the way. Okay, so fighting, fishing, fucking. That's what it is. That's what the story is. But clearly, she couldn't say that. So, Dad had 3 true loves: hunting, fishing, and drinking. He likes both kinds of music, country and western. That's funny. I like this woman. Like every sad cowboy song, he couldn't stay married, but that didn't keep him from trying again and again. He had a total of 4 legal marriages and divorces, and 1 common law marriage under his belt that we know of. Daughter had adventure streak. He loved to skydive. I wanted to go with him. I just never made it. When it came to family, he's extremely proud of his only child, mostly because she's almost as big a pain in the ass as he was, and she kept the pain in the ass line going by giving him his only grandchild. He's predeceased in death by his mother, who, till the day he died, he still called his mommy. Wow. Proof positive that even the biggest assholes have a soft side. You just have to dig deeper to find it. Her dad here apparently was 62 when he passed. So at 62, he's still calling his mom mommy. All right. His father is still around though, and was sure to teach Dad the best ways to be emotionally unavailable and yet overly sensitive, all rolled into one. It's a strong family trait passed down generation to generation. Aside from his siblings, all of whom managed to outlive him, which is no surprise, seeing as he was equal parts daredevil and lush. This woman is awesome. I love this woman. She's survived by nieces and nephews whom he terrorized and traumatized. Described her dad as an outdoorsy carpenter who was great at growing his own weed. He was good at just about everything he tried to be good at and was wicked smart, but that didn't stop him from trying his best to do absolutely nothing except drink, smoke, and listen to music. Family will memorize Dad with a party on 24 in lieu of this. He encouraged to visit the local dollar store in his honor. He was super pragmatic and frugal guy. Memorial Ed Kennedy District. Doors open at 5:30. There'll be food and beer that you don't have to pay for at 6, and people start talking crap about Dad and his life around 7. Although there will be music and mayhem, don't plan to stay too long. We're going to kick you out at 10. She anticipates the crowd, especially since she placed an announcement in the local paper. The ICU staff at the hospital where he died, RSVP and a family friend has jokingly suggested bringing bouncers and a DJ. I was a little worried. I'm hoping we don't have too many crashers. Again, daughter celebrates her late father with hilariously sarcastic obituary. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, that. Death is a part of life, right? And my son, I had to deal with some death in sport and death in family when I was younger, and when my son was younger, and I took him, and we went to a funeral. My coach had passed away, and it was an open casket, so we went to it to pay our respects. And my son was 5 or so at the time, and he says, "Is that guy really dead? Is that a mannequin?" I said, "No, son. That's a real person. He's really dead." And it kind of freaked him out a little bit. But death is part of life, and you have to give those life lessons on how to deal with both of those. Right? Dealing with the living is a little bit easier than dead, but yeah, this woman did right today. Had this one right. Did a really good job with celebrating her father. Good on her. And we needed to. I think by and large, we need more of that around some hilarious takes. What do we got this one? Multiple earthquakes. This probably is important. We should deal with this because this is Alberta, where I live. That's not the format that we pick. Angry Kim Jong-un fires long-range missile at South Korea. Japan bends ties, threatening ties amid nuclear threat from North Korea. This is interesting as well. We briefly talked about this the other day. But again, that's not how we deal with it. Maybe we'll come back to it if we have time. This is the number, as it turns out. Boss Bosses think in office work 3 times a week is the magical number. It's not, says CEO. So I'm gonna. So this is the CNBC. I'm a little bit torn on this, right? I think the reality is, depending on what your job is, some jobs you have to work in the office, but I'm not convinced at this point that all work has to be back in the office. Um, if you work like at City Hall downtown, right, at customer desk where people come in and pay their property bills, pay their bills, make complaints, all those sort of things, you can't do that not in person, right? But your accountants, your office people that are in the background, which is mostly what your office is, uh, doesn't have to be in the office. You could have a 4-day work week at home and 1 day in the office. You just have all your meetings all in one day. Maybe it's 3 and 2, right? 3 office work at home days and 2 in the office because you have different meetings they have to meet. But you do not have to have meetings every single day, right? You just all your meetings are super crammed into one day. As well as with COVID occurring, some businesses fell under for sure, but the government didn't, and it just continued on and trudged along. Other businesses did the same thing. They just find work around, and the job still got done. And this is the kicker. And your employees reported a better quality of life because they didn't have to commute into the work, which just saves them somewhere up to an hour a day, 2 hours a day, right? 1 hour there, 1 hour home. Where I live to work in the core would take me about 30 to 40 minutes. Or I could drive to the local train station and take the train, which would take me about 30 minutes, right? But that's an hour a day, right? So I don't know. I mean, obviously companies want you to be there, and there's a reason why they want that. And that was challenged over COVID. I don't think it's necessary anymore. But well, we're going to see what the story says. I do have 3 beverages. One because Rihanna says I have to drink more water. I'm trying to finish off my coffee, and I want to be most respectful to our good friend Darth Verbaka and open up a PBR. So I'm going to drink the coffee quickly and start drinking the beer and the water. Okay, the story says bosses think in-office work 3 times a week is a magical number. It's not, says CEO. Corporate bosses are getting return to office requirements all wrong. Global work experts and remote leaders said during a panel conversation, 3 days a week requirement has become the norm at many companies, which is in line with kind of what I just said, right? But it's far from best practice or grounded in good data, says Michael Bush, CEO of Great Place to Work. Why 3 days a week? Why not 4? Why not 2? That's really good questions, right? It could be 5 days on this side to no days on this side, which is Mrs. Frostmage absolutely hates when I do this, because whenever we're having some sort of fight, some sort of disagreement, some sort of argument, I give the two. Well, is it this, which is on one side of the extreme, or is it this, the other side of the extreme? And she just looks at me, and it's not either one of these two things. It's somewhere in between. So now let's start gradually working towards it, and we'll find out what the answer to the solution or the solution to the problem is. This is the same thing. Is it why not 3, 4, or 2? Why is 3 the number? That's the legit answer. Many bosses land on 3 days a week as if it's the magical number. It's not. You should have reasons why 3 matters. I use 3 for very much the same reason here. Dealing with problems. If someone comes to me and says this is a problem and you should fix it, my retort to them is, here's a problem, here's why it's a problem, and here's 3 viable solutions. Viable is important here. 3 viable solutions to the problem. If you haven't done all 3 of those 3 things, it's easy for you to come to me and say, here's a problem here and you should fix it. Or here's a problem and here's why it's a problem. But if you haven't got 3 viable solutions, you haven't done what I think is the most important part of it, given some critical thought to the problem. One guy that did this says, and this is why I put viable in there. He says, well, we could just wait for an asteroid to hit the planet and wipe man out. That is a solution, right? It's not a very good solution. It doesn't move the conversation forward. So now it has to be a viable solution, right? And this guy is asking the exact same question. If you want 3 days a week, why 3 days a week? and then pick your reasons, and not just one, but three. And the three doesn't mean that we're going to use those solutions, but it shows that you've done some critical thinking about what the problem is, and can start the ball rolling to get to a much better conclusive solution. Right? Just because you pick those three doesn't mean that we're going to pick one of those three reasons, solutions to the problem, but it shows that you've thought about the problem. You should have a reason why three matters. Bush says many leaders mistakenly assume that being together in person automatically leads to better collaboration, though there's no data to support it, right? Because there's a lot of innovation with people not being together over the last 3 years. Yeah. Another story I heard, unrelated to this, was school, right? A professor was teaching in university, just didn't share, just left it to them. The students, I like having no days in the office, right? No days in the office would be the very best, right? If you can prove to your boss, Darth Verbaka, if you can prove to your boss that you're getting your work done at the same level that you were doing it before, why wouldn't you work at home? Right? He's providing you, you're saving him money. He doesn't have to pay for your office. He doesn't have to pay for other things that are in there. He can reimburse you for some of your computer usage. My company used to give out a BlackBerry phone. So now you'd be these guys look like Batman, right? You got two phones on there. One's your work phone and one is your personal phone. Then while I was at the office, the company actually said, we're not going to do that anymore. It's just too expensive. So we're not going to pay out phones anymore. What we will do is reimburse each employees that have to use a phone $70 off of their phone bill, and their phone bill used to be $100, right? So they would give us $75 to offset the phone, but we'd use our personal phone for work related stuff. That's genius, and that actually saves the company money. You can do the same thing with a computer, right? For sure you can. So there's no real reason why we have to go back to work. It's depending on the job. Fast food worker, you probably have to serve someone in person, although robots are now coming out. I think McDonald's just opened up a new restaurant that's got 0 people working there. It's all automated. I don't know how it went, but there are leaders with control issues, and there it is. That's the kicker. This is ego that's getting in the way, right? The only thing you can't do is say, I want everyone back because it makes me feel better. There's a big risk for hiring and retention. People who work for these types of leaders are updating their profiles. Yeah. And what's Black Friday is the number one day for people to quit their jobs in the U.S., right? Because it's is it right after Thanksgiving? Yeah, it's right after Thanksgiving, right? But people quit actually before then because they don't want to deal with the shit of it, right? As far as best practices go, every leader should listen better and understand how teams work best on one-on-one conversations, surveys, focus groups, or 90-day trials. Figure out which one of those work best. Yeah, absolutely. Listening is the biggest challenge for remote leaders. Yeah. And most importantly, understanding what you're not hearing. There it is. Language is important there. What are they not telling you? It's important for managers to proactively seek feedback outside of group settings. It's true. Everyone has feedback, but how do you get that feedback? Companies, if they were wise, would always give an exit survey, like an exit interview. They know that there's going to be negative pushback, right? That guy was an asshole, and I don't want to work with that guy. That's going to happen all the time. But if you don't give those exit surveys, you never find out where the problem is or to address it. Right? It just happens that way. Everyone has feedback. Everyone has something to say about something. How do you build that trust? Maybe they don't want to tell you. Maybe you want to tell someone else. Maybe you have to build relationships with your people. Yeah, absolutely. Haphazard work environment, far from remote. No good remote work policies in place. We're learning this is something that's very new to most companies, of course, because we've never had to deal with this, right? The business model of everyone showing up to work is what we're used to. Crisis, but real long-term work on building out policies, practices that can actually help keep people happy, keeping them working at your company and not looking for another job, and keep them productive is a long process. Bigger challenge for CEOs of companies is listening and observing and understanding and being conscious. That's a lot of ands. Listening and observing and understanding and being conscious of what's not working. That's the difficult part that companies are in right now. That's pretty bang on, right? You have to listen to the people that are working for you, and they're telling you that they've never been happier when they didn't have to come into the office. And if companies continue to force you to come into the office, they're going to lose people. This is what it is. All right. Next story. We're probably going to end this after this next story here. That's an ad. So this guy might be sick, and some say he was even poisoned. That's the second story, and this is the third story. Oh, this is a fluff piece. This will be interesting, and this will be our last story actually. Big ugly diamond discovered by U.S. park visitor. This is by the BBC News. This is as I said, I have a degree in political science. One of my professors in university that was teaching me political science, I asked him. He gets in the office about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. He said every day, and he reads 13 papers a day. Like, what? Why would you read 13 papers a day? That's crazy. He says because you get different perspectives on things. Like, really? Well, which I don't have time to read 13 papers a day. What papers do you suggest you read? He says, well, we live in Canada, so pick one that's got a good global connection to it. So for Canada, we read the CBC. And I'm not so sure I agree with that anymore, but it's got a good diverse across the country type feel to it. You should read the BBC. BBC News is a good European feel to it. And then he said, read Al Jazeera because it gives still a Western perspective on it, but more of a Jewish, Muslim feel to it, Middle Eastern feel to the same problem. I found when I read the BBC and Al Jazeera, they give two different perspectives, essentially on the same topic, whatever that was, but from the different side. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I still read from time to time BBC and Al Jazeera news. I find it very interesting. The fact that BBC is reporting on this is this happens. I think is just a fluff piece, but it's important that it made it in here. So interesting. Oh wait. This is actually in the U.S. A diamond discovered at an Arkansas state park has been dubbed Bud by the man who discovered it. It's a pretty big size diamond. That's that's why it's big ugly diamond, Bud. A lucky tourist from Tennessee walked along. He found the 3.29 carat brown diamond at the Crater of Diamonds, ironically called the Crater of Diamonds State Park. One or two diamonds are found every day at the park, which permits visitors to keep the diamonds they find. The gem was found at first I thought it was quartz, but wonder why it was so shiny. Once I picked it up, I realized it was diamond. He said he's been traveling to the park since first hearing about it on TV in 2007. Really? I never heard of this. This is interesting. Darth Verbaka, you ever heard of this? Hippie, you heard of this? Diamond Park? After I found my first diamond, 1.5 carat white, I was hooked. Adding he's found more than 400 diamonds since then. Holy shit. Wow. Other top finds he's made is a 3.83 carat yellow diamond found in 2010 and a 6.19 carat white diamond found in 2014. Wow. Like the others, he plans to sell his recent discovery to jewelers in his area. Really? The rare stone is the size of an English pea. Okay. Round, smooth edges. Going on. You can rent digging and sifting tools. Offer free identification for any rocks materials found in the park. More than 75,000 diamonds have been found since 1906. Of those, more than 35,000 were discovered since the region became a state park in 1972. The site is also where the largest diamond ever found in the U.S. was discovered. In 1924, a white diamond with a pink cast weighing 40 carats was unearthed from the site. It's dubbed Uncle Sam and is display at a National Museum of. It is now on display at the National Museum of Natural History in Washington D.C. That is amazing. Hmm. Wow. Oh, well, that's good. That's a great story to end off on. We should have ended with that eulogy one instead. I'm not going to lie, but lots of other great things that are happening here. Um, so again, who cares now? We just talk about whatever story comes up here, right? We just never know. So it just is what it is. Oil oil prices plunge. Canada energy stocks taking beating as global banks fearing spread. This is interesting. So this is obviously impacting Canada based on the bank that went under in 24 hours in the U.S. Right, run-ons occur, and now the federal government, the U.S. federal government, is attempting to stop and stymie and tell people that your money's still safe, it's still there. It's right. Don't You don't need to panic, right? But people are not like that. I saw a great political cartoon a couple of weeks ago where they say lots of people in the same area, and someone says bye, and you hear some guy over here bye bye, and it goes up 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 up. Up. Says, oh, this is great. I'm going to hold it, and I'm never going to sell. Sell, 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 sell. So you see this buy, sell is what it's going, and that's kind of how it works, right? What else we got here? Ukraine has made a big mistake by refusing to retreat from, or has Ukraine made a big mistake? This is by NBC. I don't know. I'm pretty much of the belief that Ukraine, if they retreat from this place, it's to save some lives. It's to regroup and come back. I do believe that the world should be supporting Ukraine, and Ukraine should not retreat at all. Right? They shouldn't be offering peace talks or ceasefires, all the rest of it. The only solution is for Russia to leave our area right here. This was what our area was before. You came in and want to take it your own. You should not. I don't believe that Ukraine should give any quarter. Keep fighting until they're gone. Bullies just keep taking what they want, right? There was this guy in Europe in the 30s that did the same sort of thing. He took over this land, and the world did nothing. He took over this land, the world did nothing, and nothing stopped except full out war, right? I think this is the same sort of way. Just because Russia thinks that is Russian land doesn't mean that it is. Right? The world recognizes that this area here was part of Ukraine, and that guy took it. Right? So, yeah, I don't know. That's just obviously this is opinion, of course, right? But conservative author Bethany struggles to come up with a definition of woke. Oh, this stuff drives me crazy. All right. Well, that's going to it. I just want to end it right there. Go check. You know what I haven't done to finish this off? I'm gonna get at least 2 shoutouts here, and I'm so bad at this, so I do apologize. Go check out Hippie Elf. She plays a lot of WoW, and I'm actually going to go play WoW with her in probably about 15 minutes from now, because I got to finish my coffee. Got to finish my coffee. She's got a whack ton of tunes that she does keys with. She's got a ton. What did she say? She's got 12 70s, which is it's absolutely crazy how many tunes she has, and she has keys for all of them. So if you need to run a key, that's the woman you want to talk to. Go check out her stream. We also need a shout out here for Darth Verbaka. Darth Verbaka does a cooking stream every day about 3 o'clock, so about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes from now, somewhere in that range. And Darth Verbaka, you've influenced me for sure, right? Hey, I have to eat every day, so I might as well stream it. Right? I heard Darth Verbaka say that once, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty poignant. That's pretty good. So why not do it? And he makes sometimes it's really interesting, and I'm like, wonder what that's going to be like. But it always looks good. I think only once. There's been a couple things he's made that I don't actually like, and it's only because I don't eat fish, right? I don't eat seafood. And so that's the right. It's not that it doesn't look good or whatever else it is. It looks good. He drops lots of f bombs, but not in a malicious way, which is super super important. The people that I follow and the people that I give shit outs to support that, right? They're welcoming of people in. They're welcoming. Don't take themselves too serious and have a good product. They put out a good product. So this is the people that I give shout outs to. These are the people that I follow. For sure. I follow more than that, but go check out both these guys. They're both solid peeps. And yeah. I do need to connect with Darth Verbaka off stream, actually. Um, well, actually, what Crown Royal, or yeah, the Crown Royal that you were liking, is it a peach Crown Royal that you like or an apple Crown Royal that you like? You've made this statement on your channel a couple times, but I forget what it is. I will reach out to you. Actually, I'll try and get on your stream later on today. In fact, I will get on your stream later on today and ask you about it because it's but there's other things happening in the background. Um, what else do we have going on this week? Who Cares should be back next week. So next Tuesday we will be back here. What is this one? I'll call this. Let's get rid of that. Who Cares will be back on next week. Hope. So we will continue on with our friend there. Let's see. I'm just trying to find something here. We have the hockey game later on tonight. Let me find out what time the hockey game is. We have like 14 games left. They played 8 o'clock tonight against the Vegas Knights. This is going to be a tough game, right? Calgary continues to place records. The locals, the newest stat, I guess, is that when one team outshoots the other team by 10 or more shots on net, Calgary now has 20 losses. We've outshot our team by more than 10 points 20 times this past season, and we've lost 20 games. Just so we're clear, they've played 67 games, I think. 68 games? Somewhere in that range. 67, 68 games. We've lost 20 of them. No, we've lost more than that, but that's crazy. I'm just looking at the stat right now. Our record is 30, 24, and 14. So of the 24 games, we've lost. We've outshot them 20 of those 4 times. That's absolutely crazy. And then this weekend, Mrs. Frostmage and I, we have, it's a national holiday tomorrow, by the way. So kudos to Mrs. Frostmage. May not be streaming. I'm going to try and stream first thing in the morning, but we may not be streaming tomorrow because of the national holiday. It's St. Patty's Day, of course, right? So we will be out at the pub. Mrs. Frostmage, I think, is going to work until 1 o'clock. She's going to come pick me up, and then we're meeting friends. We'll be at the pub by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be a full shift tomorrow. So Saturday might be a write-off for streaming because I'm going to have a hangover, I know. But we play poker on Saturday with our friends, which means a little bit more socializing. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be rough. And then we have the bi-weekly family dinner with her family at lunchtime. We're actually going down to High River, which is their town about an hour south of Calgary here, and we're going to hang out at the Legion. And so that's cheap beer, right? That's so it's a full shift this weekend. Oh, my liver's already sore. We're going to help it out right here. Okay, and then the last thing is we want to give a shout out to our sponsor. So as I said, running late today because one of the things I was looking at was at a sponsorship offer. Someone reached out to me and wanted to offer Who Cares and I sponsorship on this channel. You can see that Yuck Yuck's is right there. This is Who Cares' sponsor. I'm just assuming he's still going to hold up the same thing that we had before. But if you leave a comment in the YouTube channel that's down below, which is dedicated to this program specifically, if you leave a comment here on Twitch or in the YouTube. The YouTube is better because it keeps comments longer, right? I check it once a week. I'll download this program, and upload it. I'll check to see the comments if there's any. Who cares said he'll give you four tickets to go check out Yuck Yucks here in Calgary. Just make comments that hey, you guys are the comment on random shit guys, or something like that. That would be funny. He would like that, and we'll hook you up with that. We'll hook you up with a couple tickets. There's always great stuff. I've been to several shows over the years. I try to go to a couple shows a year. It's comedy club, right? So take it for what it's worth. Okay, that's going to be the end of today's stream. We're looking forward to another stream next Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, where we just click on this thing here, this story, this button right there, and we just talk about whatever the third story is, unless it's an ad, then we just go past it, right? So we never know what we're talking about, story wise. Yeah, just shit in general. We don't know what we're talking about either. All right, I am going to be taking a 10-minute break here. I'm going to finish this beverage, get cleaned up a little bit more, and I'm going to try and get on and stream with Hippie Elf, see if she wants to run some keys. Thank you to everyone that's been hanging out. There's the shoutouts. Go check out those guys. Darth Verbaka, Hippie Elf. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are fantastic. Look forward to hanging out with you guys. Cheers, Biggers.